Yeah! Happy New Year, everybody. I know we're past the statute of limitations,
Yeah.
but it
Party
is...
foul.
It is, I mean, look, it's the first UFC event of 2025. We'll bring it back for one more time to say it as we welcome you to the first edition of the People's Pre-Fight Show for 2025. Knocking on the door of UFC Vegas 101, which is the go-home show for UFC 311, which goes down next Saturday, but we got to kick off the UFC year somehow, and we're going to kick it off at the world's most famous Apex. I am Mike Heck, and joining me as always for these People's Pre-Fight Shows, back again here in 2025, the baddest stash in all of MMA, the chair-swinging fool himself, E. Casey Leydon. A spin and a quarter?
Yeah. It's dark times in Los Angeles right now, but I'm doing wonderful. Personally, I'm here with you. I'm here to talk about ultimate fighting. So I'm living the good life right now.
Yes. Shout out to everyone dealing with the fires out there in California. It's crazy.
It is.
Social media is just tough to look at right now.
It's nasty outside right now. There's like everything. You can see ash just like in the air. It's just everywhere. And so I'm about 20 miles from the closest fire. I think the closest fire to me is still the Pacific Palisades. Apparently the Hollywood fire, or the Sunset fire, has been contained. That was the closest one. That's about 10 miles away. But me personally, safe. But people I know did not. It's bad. It's bad out there. And yeah. But I'm here to talk fights, and hopefully little positive energy will help right now. But thank you for all the. I know a lot of people message me, friends, family, some people, people out there message me, checking on me and everything. Me and Esther are doing fine, but city of LA though, it's tough.
Tough to transition, but like you said, positive vibes. We got fisticuffs ready to go down in the world's most famous Apex. So let's go to the peeps. Of course, the super chatters get to the front of the line, removes the velvet rope before anybody else. But we're here to talk about UFC Vegas 101 and a whole bunch of other crap going on, because there's always crap going on. What is this UFC everyone keeps talking about? See, we can't miss you if you don't leave. And the UFC left for a little while, and now they're back.
Yeah. It's ultimate fighting. I don't know. It might catch on. It might not. I don't know. I don't know how people feel about it, but we'll see.
It's no power slap, but it could do okay. Joseph, what do Mike and Casey think of today's fantasy league fights? Guy has Amanda Ribas. Jed has 2 fights. He has Austin Bashi and Jacoby Smith. So yes, this is the official kickoff for the UFC's calendar year. It's also the official kickoff for the MMA fighting fantasy league, at least for the first part of 2025. And as Joseph has laid out, these are the fighters that are going today. And what do you think? Do you think both Guy and Jed are going to have good nights at the office, or do you see something kind of weird and crazy going on?
Well, I think I predict Ribas will win. And she's in a main event, so that gets more points. And I think Ribas is a good pick. And Bashi, let me see, Bashi. I know more about Bashi than Jacoby Smith. Oh, he's a giant favorite. Yeah, so should be 2 wins for Jed. I mean, stats, betting wise, all good picks. But yeah, seems like smart picks, safe picks for Jed. He was a little more riskier, but the upside being a main event and the potential for a bonus, which gets us points in the fantasy league. So should be good for Guy if she wins.
Yeah, Ribas should win, and Guy would get extra points, not just for the main event, but for being a ranked fighter as well.
Yeah, I forgot the ranked fighter part too. Yeah.
Maybe ends up being the fight of the night, so there's a bonus involved there as well, potentially. But I think Jacoby Smith will win. He needs a fit. Like Jet, the tough part about drafting these sort of big favorite prospects is that if you don't get a finish out of them, it's almost like you wasted a pick. Because you want to like get the points and the wins and stuff, but like those picks, you're picking them because you assume they're going to go out there and get a finish and get those extra points for you, especially Jacoby Smith, who I think is like a minus 800 favor or something crazy like that. So I do see a world where Jacoby gets a quick finish. Bashi is super talented. He's really young and he's wise beyond his years, but he is fighting a guy who has spoiled a lot of parties over the years in Christian Rodriguez, beat Raul Rosas Jr., has a win over Isaac Dolgarian. Those are guys who are very, very good fighters. So it's going to be interesting. And I kind of expect both these guys to get off to a good start. So I'll throw that out there.
All right. Thank you much, Mr. Boza. All right. What else we got here? Oh.
You know the card is like something when Casey wears sleeves. That's great.
That's partially true. The other part is, of course, I just got back from Japan and I went to the Rizin New Year show, which I know I've said it a billion times, but I'll say it once more. MMA fans, save up some money and get yourself to Tokyo at some point to watch a big MMA show. If you are a fan, you just have to get that full. I love the UFC, I get it, but you need to get the complete experience. You need to see a big show in Japan, and the New Year show always delivers. I think that's my fifth or sixth time I've seen either a Dream or a Rizin show. I missed the whole Pride era, but it was awesome, and so I just wanted to show off my cool hoodie I got. You can see the back. I know. Got some cool
the
stuff
green mitts.
Yeah. So I wanted to brag a bit, but yeah, but for 311, sleeves off.
Yeah, sleeves off. You might wear shorts, maybe even sandals. No socks either. I mean,
whoa, hey, this ain't 300 though. Jeez, calm down. All right. Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Excuse me. Actually, let's talk about 311 real quick.
How crazy is it that the Intuit Dome still plans on having UFC 311? The fire is still going on day 5. UFC had contingency plans of looking at T-Mobile. MMA Junkie was reporting. I mean, we reported the same thing, and it's not really a report. It was the arena sent out a release saying, look, we're going to not play the Clippers game, which would be tonight, but everything we have scheduled for next week is all happening, including UFC 311. So I talked to some folks yesterday. It was a weird day yesterday because obviously you wanted to figure out what was going on with 311 with the Clippers game getting postponed and with the Rams game getting moved to Arizona. That was a playoff game in the NFL. You kind of wondered what was going to happen with this card. Were they going to move it? They weren't going to postpone it, but was it going to get shifted to Vegas or somewhere else? I talked to people within the UFC. They thought they were confident that by the end of the day yesterday, there'd be some sort of answer one way or the other. I talked to multiple managers yesterday, not just about that, but about all the bullshit fight reports that came out yesterday and have been coming out for the last week. There are some pretty pissed off people within the MMA industry because of all of this. And perhaps we'll talk about some of that stuff. I don't really know, but late last night, I think it was right before midnight Eastern time, I saw the tweet from the Clippers Twitter page, just straight from the press release from the Intuit Dome that said, we're just missing the one game tomorrow night. We want to make sure that all the resources are in place to help out if those fires continue to become impactful. But next week we're sticking to the schedule. So as of now, that's what we're doing. I'm not surprised, honestly, but I also don't think this is like, you can't say this is 100% accurate just yet because you never know. Like things could start back up Monday and you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah. it's important to note that the fire now they are not as bad as they were as I think Friday night when there were the Santana winds and those, you've probably seen the images of, the palm trees and just like sparks and embers going like crazy. We're not getting those 50-mile, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but they are expecting Monday or Tuesday more winds to come in. And if bigger fires break out again, and they're still going on, there's still many fires outside around the LA County, it could get bad again. I'm actually surprised they decided to do this because if it gets bad, they would have to say Wednesday potentially cancel the card, and that'd be, I think, too late to maybe move a card of that magnitude to say T-Mobile. UFC does amazing things like that, but it's a risky thing. But I still, right now today, next Saturday I think we'll be fine, but things can change very fast this week. So that's about all I can tell you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Boza. What we got?
I missed you too, Thomas Schultz. God, I got the whole first name and everything. Mike, is the tux of the dry cleaners ahead of the town hall? It is dry clean and ready to go. I'm going to wear it. Well, we're not doing full tux, but we'll wear a nice suit. We'll wear a nice shirt, a tie. We'll be ready to go. Things could get a little hairy on Thursday.
It's not getting good out there. I mean,
it's not getting good out there in the PFL streets.
It seems each day it's getting kind of more and more ooh.
Yeah. I'm hearing more and more things going on behind the scenes. So we'll have to check with Double D 5 days from now and get the full scoop.
Yeah. All right. Thank you much.
Casey, can we get a full mangy beard for 2025?
No.
I can't even imagine that, honestly.
No, that was just, I mean, there's right here, I have this patch, just no hair follicles, nothing. I don't understand. It's like nothing. But so we're gonna avoid that. I mean, unless I get stranded on a desert island for a few months, then I'll guess I'll grow it out, for you, Nico. But otherwise, no.
That'd be I can't even picture it. What a sight. Favorite 311 song. Oh, okay. I'm a Rage Against the Machine dude, but a lot of the suburb kids I went to school with dug them some 311. Down was a jam.
That's the only one. I did see or watched most of when 311 was on NPR's Tiny Desk concert series. You know what that is, right, Mike?
Oh yeah, I love that.
Okay,
stuff.
cool.
I love those.
I think 311 was on, and not a 311 fan, but I gotta admit it was kind of cool. It was kind of nostalgic. I was like, oh, look, they're still doing it, And outside that Down song and the video, I remember the video. It was all ooh.
Yeah, I mean there are a bunch. Come Original is big. What was their first one? All Mixed Up? Was that their first?
Yeah, that was it.
Hit?
That was it. I'm confusing Down. I think Down and All Mixed Up. I'm kind of thinking their same song in my head.
Yeah,
but
they're not. Yeah, they sound similar, but they're not the same.
Can you give me a little line? A little karaoke real quick?
Of what? All mixed up. Don't know what to do. Then there's Amber was the color of your energy. Love Song was a big one too. I remember we used to think that was the cheesiest song ever. Me and my oldest brother, when I worked with him one summer, that actually made that my ringtone. Just because when it rang, we would just laugh because it was such a cheesy song. Love Song by 311. Beautiful Disaster was a fun one.
Yeah.
And that was it. Those are the ones off the top of my head. I got nothing.
Was this is I'm asking such a noob question, but why were they? Do we know why they were called 311? Was that or was it just?
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't know if
that's a
missed
great
something.
question.
Aren't they from Nebraska or something? They're from some
311. The band 311 chose their name from the police code for indecent exposure in Omaha, Nebraska.
I knew they were from Nebraska. I don't know why I knew that. That's I knew. I was like, aren't they from like some
I did
odd
not even
like?
know that.
And I figured like yeah, it's like usually when it's random numbers, it's usually some police code, something related to drugs or it was indecent exposure. Yeah, okay. But that's on brand. That's on brand. I get it.
It tracks. It tracks.
It tracks. So yeah.
What else? Apparently, 311 released a studio album in 2024, which I had no idea about. But
Good for them. Still doing it.
good for
Still doing
them.
it. Hold on.
They sang about drugs, and Casey was straight edge.
This is true. Like when they were doing their thing, that's what I remember them as. Like because I heard stories about people hanging out with them. Like those guys like they like to have fun. I'm like, oh, good for them. So, not a hater, not a hater. If you like it, you like it. Cool. All right.
Do your
Thank
thing.
you, McCray, Scott McCray, and Mr. Sandine. All right. What we got here?
Which Chris Curtis do you think will show up? The one who KO'd Buckley or the one who lost a tepid decision to Jack Hermanson? So that is probably, and I think most people would agree, that's probably the most interesting fight on this entire card. And that includes the main event for me. I know the main event is rankings and stakes and of some sort, but strawweight in 2025 is not what strawweight was in 2018. So it's not like a deep, strong, loaded division, especially when you have a champion that doesn't fight all that much and she's defending her title against somebody who really doesn't fight all that much for a multitude of different reasons. But Curtis and Kopylov is a real interesting fight. So when you look at it, Casey, do you predict that we get the Chris Curtis who kind of styled on Joaquin Buckley before knocking him out, or the guy who was kind of overwhelmed by fighting a guy who has just been in there with everybody in Jack Hermanson?
Yeah, well, I kind of disagree with the premise of the question about which one's going to show up, because it's kind of diminishes Jack Hermanson as a fighter. I think Jack Hermanson is a no top 10, top 15, top 10 middleweight, and that night he was simply I think overall he's just a better mixed martial artist than Chris Curtis. Style wise, this fight should be fun tonight, and I am picking Chris Curtis to win. 'Cause I think he's overall a better stand-up fighter in the mixed martial arts. But Kopylov, was it who got him good last? Was it was it Fluffy that got Kopylov good? Like
Fluffy got him good.
Yeah.
Kopylov won his last fight, though.
Yeah, but he did win his last fight, and Curtis is coming off a really exciting fight against Brendan Allen. Is that correct? It wasn't.
Yep. He got dinged up pretty good in that fight.
He got dinged up, but it was a heck of a fight. I think one of the fights of the year. Great fight. And Brendan Allen just and I don't think he didn't get outclassed or anything by Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen just simply kind of won that fight that night. But this should be the co-main event. We discussed on the previous show. It's kind of mysterious why this fight is so kind of middle of the card when it clearly should be the co-main event. But I'm expecting Curtis to look good tonight. But if he loses, it's not going to be because he didn't show up. If that makes sense. I think if he loses, it's just because Kopylov might be the better fighter tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because Roman can do it all. Like he's decent at everything. He beat Cesar Almeida because he tackled him a whole bunch, which is like the smart way to fight him and beat a guy like that. Chris is like almost impossible to take down, and Chris also doesn't get hurt really ever. So this seems like one of those fights where Chris needs to survive the early onslaught and kind of wait for Roman to slow down, and then maybe he can take over and get a late finish. But to me, this is just going to be, can Chris's volume match Kopylov kind of dinging him up? Because Roman's going to land the bigger shots in this fight, but Chris is going to land more shots in this fight. It's just a matter of like what is more impactful in this one. So yeah, it's a great fight. Can't wait for it. And yeah, I agree. It should be the co-main event.
Yeah. Thank you much. What other questions do we have here?
Crazy thing, Curtis did that to Buckley, then Buckley went on a tear this year. Sure did. Well,
Weight
he went
class
down to
change.
170, man.
Yeah.
Chris is just
Yeah.
so defensively savvy. He's so good defensively. And there's another fighter competing on this card who I think is like the most fun guy at lightweight, besides Islam Makhachev from a defensive standpoint. Thiago Moises is like unbelievable defensively, especially on the stand up, because it looks like he's getting hit. And then if you really slow things down, he doesn't get hit ever, unless it's Benoit Saint-Denis kind of like just
Yeah.
obliterating him. But for the most part, like go watch the Alex Hernandez fight. That's the one to me where it's just like, man, like he's just so good. Alex can't touch him. Alex is real close to touching him, but he can. So yeah, Thiago is real fun when it comes to that, and just watching a guy kind of move around, slip punches and shoulder roll and all that stuff. And Chris Curtis is so good at that too. So yeah.
Was Thiago Moises, was he ever a top 10? Did he kind of?
I don't think he got to 10. I think he was ranked. I know he's been in the. I'm pretty sure he's been in the 15. I think he was
Okay.
ranked when he fought Makhachev.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking at Tapology right now. I was kind of wondering what the general thought process coming into that fight, but I'm looking at it and like 95% of fans had Makhachev winning that fight coming into the fight. So I think we were already established who Makhachev was. He just needed the opponents to prove it. So I wasn't
Like,
sure how.
like, look at what this dude. Look at who Thiago Moises has lost to in the UFC: Dariush, Demiris Magulov, Islam Makhachev, Joel Alvarez, Benoit Saint-Denis, and Ludwig Klein. Ludwig Klein hasn't lost in forever.
Yeah.
Like these are losses that you're just like, okay, I get it. Like he's losing to like top 20 dudes.
And nice wins. Bobby Green, Hernandez. Yeah, just good wins too.
Christos Giagos at the time was a great win. He was on a nice run. Like, yeah. Hernandez at the time. Kurt Holloway. Like he's good. He's a top 30 lightweight.
Yeah.
Which is in that division, like top 30 lightweight is probably top 15 in most other divisions.
But thank you, Clarkson. And yeah, we transitioned that into a lot of Thiago Moises talk.
I love it.
All right, what else we got here?
Thiago Moises is only 29, which is crazy, by the way.
That is, yeah. Was he one of those guys? I think he's one of those guys that got signed when he was like 22, 23. Yeah.
He's like Jose Aldo, who just like, you think Jose Aldo's like 47 and he's like 35. It's crazy.
I'm not predicting it for Thiago Moises, but like he's one of those guys that I could see kind of just like where he's been, like top 15, top 20, and then all of a sudden he hits like 30. He just kind of hits his stride, and before we know it, he's like, oh man, he won like 5 in a row. He's like he's potentially there for a top 5 fight, you know. I think we always kind of see that in him, but he just winds up losing those fights. And since he doesn't really have a big personality, so I guess there's not really too much fanfare over him. But the people that know kind of like, oh, that's always going to be a tough, exciting fight when Thiago Moises is on the card. Thank you much. Question for me.
Casey, favorite hardcore band of all time?
Ooh, I could go all show about this. My first hardcore band, like I kind of fell in love with, was if you want to call them hardcore, some people call them metal, was Converge, and they are a hardcore band from Boston, and Google them, check them out. Actually, during my fight, I chose a Converge song to walk out to. Other hardcore bands I just loved. They were before my time, but like I fell in love with the Gorilla Biscuits. They're a New York straight edge band. I loved a lot of New York hardcore. I loved like Agnostic Front. I was really into Madball. And then later, when I started getting more woke and political, I started listening to bands like Los Crudos, who are a Mexican hardcore band from Chicago. and and just the classics too, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, all that stuff. You gotta love all the classics. Yeah, hardcore. But hardcore music was kind of like, I listen to a lot of like metal now, especially. But like in my heart, I'm still like a hardcore kid. So thanks for asking. I love talking. Hardcore. Were you ever into like heavy music, Mike? Did you ever like your thing?
No.
If not, I'm not.
Like I was speaking of rock,
yeah.
not to that level, but I've seen Rage Against the Machine live.
Yeah.
I went.
I dig Rage,
and the concert
Rage,
ended early. The concert ended early because people started rushing the stage, and security could not handle it at the old Worcester Centrum. And Gangstar actually opened for them.
No way!
A sick show.
I love Gangstar. You saw Gangstar live? That's
I sure
cool,
did,
man. That's cool.
I was like 13 or 14. I wish like I could go back in time at the age I'm at now, because I would appreciate it way more.
You appreciate it more, yeah. That's cool.
But it was pretty awesome.
I got a mixtape a friend made for me. A young lady made for me. People used to make mixtapes for each other, cassette tapes, and in high school, and it had the song "Moment of Truth" by Gangstar on it. And check it out if you haven't heard it. It's a wonderful song, and I remember it was one of those songs that kind of it blew my mind in the sense of, I was like, oh, I never listened to hip hop like this. So check it out. I love Gangstar.
The old school like Tony Hawk skateboarding video game that was like on the soundtrack.
Oh, it was?
Moment of Truth. Yeah.
Nice, awesome.
It's a great song.
I kind of miss those days when you would discover music through video games. I remember that was kind of a thing for a while. Yeah. Listening to I must have heard that Offspring song, All I Want, like a billion times. I remember
hearing
Offspring, yeah.
I remember hearing Common's 1999 for the first time on the first ever And One mixtape. That was the first time I ever remember that song. I was like, this song friggin' rocks. And then it was And One mixtape became what it was. Those are so super fun.
Yeah.
Got to shout out Bane too, is a straight edge band.
Representing Boston. Yeah. So yeah.
So they're good. They're good.
I did see Bane a few times actually when they toured. This is back when I lived in Texas, but yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you much. Yeah, I love talking this stuff. All right. I knew people.
Converge is metalcore, not hardcore.
It's all the same, bro. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Sleetos
are common sections. Well, actually, guy. Well, actually, it's not hardcore. It's actually metalcore. It's the Ted Mosby of the comment section.
Thank you, Sleeto.
I love you, Sleeto.
All right.
Actually, it's encyclopedia, not encyclopedia.
All right. Let's talk next week.
Are we getting a new champ at 135 next week? This is a great question because I don't know yet. I haven't decided, but I think I'll let the world know. I already have a bet on Merab Dvalishvili because I got him at plus 285, and I don't think I'll ever again be able to get a guy like Merab at such a underdog price. So I had to take it. But also, the more I think about this fight, the more I think to myself, until I see somebody just straight up dust Merab, I can't pick against him at this point. I picked against him way too many times, and I just don't know if I could do it again until I see somebody actually just run his ass over. Because if Umar wins, he is going to run Merab over. I don't think this fight is very competitive if Umar is to win this fight. Honestly, if Merab wins, I think it's a little more competitive. But I think if Umar goes out there and it's his night, he's going to kill Merab. So right now, I'm picking Merab to win. A hard-fought, really grimy decision to retain the title. And Umar is young enough that he will be back and he will get another opportunity someday. But I don't know. But then for my futures predictions, I kind of need Umar to win. But I don't know. Because my future. So if anyone missed it, my future pick for Bantamweight champion is Petr Yan. That it's his year. Y'all must have forgot. Either he fights Merab or he fights Umar and wins the belt by the end of the year. I'm just going crazy. That's my crazy pick. But right this second, I'm going Merab. Where are you at?
For selfish reasons, I have a certain champ that's on my fantasy team. So I am picking Rob, but taking away my bias. What Umar did to Corey Sandhagen, I was like, oh man, this guy can't be beat. Because I'm a big Corey Sandhagen fan, and I still kind of believe Corey Sandhagen is the best bantamweight. He just hasn't put it all together in a fight in the right matchup. And I know it kind of sounds weird, but I know he's lost fights. But Umar worked Corey and for 5 rounds, and it was just so impressive. And yeah, you're kind of. I understand what you're saying. I have a hard time visualizing someone just running over Merab, but I can't visualize it. But I can also see Umar might be the guy to do it. I think he's just getting better. He's so well rounded. The man can hit. The man can grapple. The man can submit. He fights smart, and yeah, it's a very tough fight from Merab, and I can't think of a tougher title, your first title defense, than this. I'm super excited about the fight, though. Super excited. I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens. I'm gonna pick Umar, but I think it's one of those fights where if they fought 10 times, Merab could win 3. One of those things. But I don't think it's I don't think it's gonna be. Yeah, no guarantees, but no guarantees for the fighter. But I do like Umar's chances. He's just that good right now.
I don't know what this fight's going to look like, because if they waited till April or May to do this fight, I think it looks way different, because I think both guys are dinged up. I don't think Umar had the arm injury, which is why I said he couldn't fight in January, and then all of a sudden Dana's like, yeah, he's fighting in January. And then he told Brett Okamoto, like, yeah, I heard it, and it was I had a broken arm, and then 20 days later, it was like, okay, I'm ready to fight. And then he did an interview with MMA Junkie, and it was just like he backed everything off, which makes no sense. I don't believe him at all. I do think there's an injury there. However, I do think Merab is also injured, beyond just fight camp wear and tear. Merab told me in the interview that's going to drop tomorrow. So we're going to get 2 super talented guys, probably at like 70% of their abilities. And I don't know who's better there. I really don't. And again, if we let these guys have like full camps and, the right timing, Merab gets to enjoy being champion for more than 4 months before he has to defend it for the first time. Like, I think this fight looks way different. So yeah, it's just who's grimier and who can kind of battle through the pain and adversity better.
Yeah. I mean, right now, if we're going to judge it on that, who can kind of like battle through the grime the best, I would pick Merab, because we've seen it, and not that we don't know how tough Umar is. He's just been that dominant. He hasn't got a chance to prove how tough he is, because
he got dropped. He got dropped 2 fights ago, like right away.
Who dropped? I forget. What was it?
Whatever the hell's his name.
I know you're right. Yeah, you're right. I can't remember though. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I don't have the Jose Young's brain.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I have to pull this up.
But I do remember. But I remember thinking, I like when watching great fighters get hurt, because then you're like, okay, like he's not just he can take a beating and come back. So
Beksat Almakhan is his name.
Whoa.
Who's 11-1, like really good fighter. And I was actually really excited he got signed. It was unfortunate that it was just one of those like, okay, we need you on short notice to fight this dude. Kind of things. But yeah. But after that, like after he got dropped, like Beksat just got run the F over for the next 14 and a half minutes.
Yeah. Just that. Quick super chat before we hit our picks.
Well, my faves, the Duelist and the Pleasure Man, survive in the UFC for another year. Also, what do you think of TKO boxing, unknown young boxers? I don't know. The TKO boxing thing, I truly don't know what that's going to look like. Will Potiera and the Pleasure Man survive for the rest of the year as Anton Turkali.
Is the duelist? Is that
Is
who's
he
the
not?
duelist?
Did he not get released yet?
I thought Pleasure Man's gone.
You thought who was gone?
The Pleasure Man. I thought he already got released.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I thought so too. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's out.
yeah. Is this a must win for the duelist Ihor tonight? It'll be his third straight loss if he loses tonight, and he's losing against a UFC debutant.
It's a setup fight
Oh yeah,
for the debutante. But as Jed and I have been saying on this website for years, getting people is a skill, but getting got is a great skill too. And the duelist gets got real good,
yeah.
and you can use his getting got skill to put over fresh unknown talent, if you will. So I kind of think the duelist has a chance, but Pleasure Man's already gone. So
Yeah. Oh, and he missed weight too. I forgot.
he did miss
Eeyore,
weight. That's not a
Eeyore
good
missed
thing.
weight. Yeah. So, yeah, this might be. Yeah. So if we're going for the whole year, I'm gonna go ahead and say no for both those gentlemen. But good luck to the duelist tonight. And TKO
Yeah,
boxing, that's all. That's all I gotta say.
it'll happen, but
Sure.
it
Whatever.
is what it is. All right, let's go to picks,
Oh, before we do our picks, I
please.
just want to give a personal shout out to my teammates who did some amazing things last night at LFA. My teammate Visconde, who was in the main event, he had a knockout of the year type performance, spinning elbow knockout. And then my other teammate, Hafa Militia, he won by a calf slicer. And I've been caught in that calf slicer a few times during training, and I wouldn't have tapped. Shoot. But yeah, but super congratulations to those gentlemen. So check out LFA's card, and both those two gentlemen, they need to get the call to Contender Series or to the big show very soon. Nick Maynard.
Yeah, shout out to there's a prospect that I've had my eye on for a while. Real young, fought on that same LFA
Oh,
card
he
on the
did?
prelims.
On the prelims?
Shaler Ladd, who is actually the younger brother of
Ash,
former UFC fighter Aspen Ladd,
oh, wow.
and he's had a whole bunch of fights booked and opponents falling out.
Mhm.
And ever since he made the decision to turn pro, he has just not been able to find an opponent that will say yes to fighting him. And he finally made his pro debut and just rinsed the dude he fought, second round TKO. So yeah, LFA doing big things. They always produce some really talented prospects. So we'll see what happens with all of that. All right, let's go to our picks. Do we you bonus predictions? Any bonuses?
I'm going to go main event. Main event for the fight of the night.
Oh, okay.
I think that's going to be a nice little brawl, especially without the durability of Mackenzie Dern. So I think, yeah. And for other performances, I am going Austin Bashi and I don't know the other one actually. I'm gonna go Euros Medic. Medic.
Okay. I will go fight of the night. Chris Curtis versus Roman Kopylov. I think it's gonna be a good scrap. Performance of the night. I will go Jacoby Smith, and I will go Marco Tulio as the other. And there you have it. Because I think he's gonna do some things to the old duelist. All right, main card picks. We begin with what is there? 6. Puna
First.
Soriano and Euros Medic is the first fight. Yep. Euros Medic, the minus 205 favorite, taking on Punahele Soriano. Casey, who comes back at plus 170. You're obviously picking Euros Medic to do the thing.
Medic first round knockout in a brawl that ends with Medic standing over top his opponent.
God, that might actually be fight of the night. but I'm
Could
not
be
gonna
fight night.
change
Yeah,
it.
they could be fight night too.
I'll go
Yeah.
Medic as well. Finish sometime in the fight. Austin Bashi making his debut, super talented upstart from the Contender Series, the minus 245 favorite. The comeback on Christian Rodriguez plus 200. I'll go Austin Bashi, but I think he's gonna have. I think he's gonna have his hands full with this one. I think this is gonna be when we write the Austin Bashi biography. It's gonna be this fight will be a very pivotal chapter in his story. He's gonna learn a ton from this one, but I do ultimately think he gets a win.
All right, I'm going Bashi submission round 2.
That'd be very, very impressive. Let's go to the middleweight division. We have Roman Kopylov, the minus 218 favorite, the comeback on the Action Man, Chris Curtis, plus 180. Casey, who you got?
Chris Curtis decision.
I'm going the other way. Roman Kopylov wins the first 2 rounds. He's huffing and puffing. Chris ain't. Puts it on him a little bit in round 3, but Kopylov hangs on to win. And it's one of those ones like, oh, if this is 5 rounds, Chris would beat him kind of wins, but I'll go with that. Let's go to, we're sticking in middleweight. We have Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He is, speaking of get or get got, he is tremendous at it. Plus 200. And Cesar Almeida, the favorite, minus 245 here, Casey. I'm going Cesar Almeida to get this done. I think he gets a knockout in round 2 because if Abdul Razak Al Hassan does not get a finish in round 1, he usually doesn't win. And I don't think he's going to finish Cesar Almeida in round
1. These 2 men know the assignment. They know why they're on this card this high on the card, and I'm picking Almeida by first round KO.
Oh, okay. The penultimate fight, we have the wily veteran Santiago Ponzinibbio. He is the slight favorite, minus 142. He takes on Carlston Harris, who comes back at plus 120. You going Ponzi scheme here? Or are you going with Carlston to get it done?
Yeah, I just have no real interest in this fight, honestly, as a co-main event. But I do like saying Ponzi scheme, and I just like saying his name in general. So I'm going Ponzinibbio by decision.
God, if he loses a split here, like he might just rip the octagon apart. I think Ponzi gets a finish here. I'll go round 2 KO. It's gonna be fun. These two are just gonna scrap it out, and I think Ponzi lands a big shot. Main event, we have the rematch between Amanda Ribas and Mackenzie Dern. Ribas, the favorite, minus 192. The comeback on Mackenzie Dern, plus 160. I'm actually going with Amanda Ribas, Casey. I actually am going in a different direction than most are. Going Amanda Ribas via finish, round 4, TKO. She just kind of puts the boots to Mackenzie Dern, who tries to take too many risks in this fight. She pays the price, and then eventually she just cannot pay the price no more. And Amanda Ribas just takes the damage bar all the way down to 0 and gets a mercy stoppage, round 4.
Mike, you are a freaking genius. Because I also picked Amanda Ribas by TKO round 4, most likely by ground and pound. I actually
That's so funny.
People were kind of poo-pooing this main event. Honestly, I'm not that I'm not one of those. I think this is a good main event. I think there's high stakes in this fight, especially with especially if Wei Li winds up beating Suarez. She needs new opponents. Dern and Ribas will be new opponents for her. Both fighters are top 10. Ribas is like her only loss at strawweight, I think, is to Marina Rodriguez. At that point, she was a top 5 fighter, and I like this fight a lot. I think Dern is gonna get her butt whooped a lot, but every once in a while she'll throw her legs up. And Ribas will get caught in a triangle, has a fight out of it. We'll go, oh my god, and then she'll get out of it, and then we'll go to the next round. It'll be a lot of just craziness, but eventually Amanda Ribas will get the stoppage, most likely some sort of top control ground and pound, and she will get the finish. And Amanda Ribas will most likely be 1 win away then from a title shot. Maybe you should fight Verna. I know that's unfair for Verna. Verna should get a title shot, but Verna Ribas or Verna versus Dern in a rematch would be super cool too. But and both these women have victories over Verna, which is kind of wild to think, So I like this main event. I think it has high stakes, and I think it should be fun.
Yeah, there's like Jed said, there's no stakes.
I disagree.
I think there's like medium. I think there's like medium stakes.
I think there's
Just medium.
potential for actually a lot of high stakes, especially with Suarez and her injuries. I don't know why I keep quoting injuries. She gets hurt. Injuries.
They are injuries.
Yeah, they're injuries.
I mean, she has legitimate injuries.
Yeah. But I think with Suarez and just not being reliable due to her injuries, and if Weili wins, she needs opponents. And is this still kind of a mystery why she only fought one time last year? Do we really know?
No idea.
There wasn't any injury. It's just weird. But hopefully they get the champ fighting 2 or 3 times a year, and she needs new opponents. And Dern and Ribas will be great new opponents for potential champion. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Hit the music. Guys, fights are back. They're back. And we will enjoy them all. And then right around 9:30, 10 p.m. Eastern time, for the first time in 2025, we'll come back on this here channel and we'll talk about what happened. We'll recap, we'll digest, and then tomorrow, AK and I will matchmake for the first time this year. And then it'll officially be UFC 311 fight week. And geez Louise, I cannot wait for UFC 311 and the watch party and everything else that's going to go with it. So, but enjoy the first fisticuffs of 2025 for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. For Casey, I am Mike Heck. We'll see you later on tonight.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.